Hello, greetings out there to all the people in YouTube land, to all of the mystics and the dreamers. My name is Belle, and I'm here to do a tarot reading today. And before I start, I just have a few thoughts that I want to share. Okay, so recently I've been thinking about the idea of living in a little bit of a cynical culture versus the personal power to feel this overflowing of happiness. Someone on Twitter was just like really exuberant, and I was like, why am I not more overflowing with happiness usually like that? And it was just really cool to see someone having this output of joy and happiness and not being afraid to show it. And it reminded me of the joy and delight of simply being alive, because sometimes we put that cynical filter in front of our view of the world, but we don't have to, I don't think. I think we can take some deep breaths and tap into that feeling of just being here, wherever you're sitting and watching this. Just take some deep breaths and tap into that sheer joy and delight of being alive. And you can't really put anything above that or in front of that. It's kind of like that bliss that's right here with us all the time, but that sometimes we overlook maybe. And that doesn't mean that we're never angsty or emotional, or we don't have some time to grieve over stuff at different points, but that joy and delight, that exuberance about being alive is still available if we are interested. So that's like really cool to me. That overflowing with happiness idea is really fun to me. The other thing I wanted to mention is I'm going to start putting together some mystic philosophy podcasts and videos. That's going to be coming up. Different topics that I'll be addressing are the topic of universal beings. Universal beings are what I like to call aliens, or different beings that you can run into through meditation experiences or dream experiences. And that's really interesting to me. I'm reading a few books on that recently. And then another topic that could come up for the Mystic Philosophy podcast is the idea from David Bohm about the implicate order and what that can mean for the way that we approach life and the way that we think about consciousness. My goal through all of this is that, along with the idea of like overflowing with excitement, my idea is to have a sense of empowerment to share, and also to spark your imagination. So I feel like I don't want to offer a certain way of doing things, because frankly, like, I have no idea how to do things exactly in life. Like, I'm still learning and growing as I go. However, I was thinking about, what do I really want to share? Like, what would I really feel justified, or what would I feel comfortable sharing? And the only two things I feel comfortable sharing with people are empowerment and the spark of imagination. And because I feel like that's something you can share, and then you're giving people something they can just take with them and do what they want with it. So anyway, that's really important to me, and I'm glad I got a chance to share those thoughts. Today for the tarot reading, I'm going to be doing 3x3. So the decks of cards I'm using are Joie de Vivre Tarot by Paulina, Chrysalis Tarot by Holly Sierra and Tony Brooks, and the Shadowscapes Tarot, which is by Stephanie Pumula. I hope I'm pronouncing all the names right. I'm not sure. It's always interesting to run into names or vocabulary, and you just kind of like go for it with pronouncing it. Okay, let's see what the cards turn up, and as always, please think for yourself. This is not really divination. It's more like some cheerful wisdom for your spiritual path, based on the imagery of the cards, as I just kind of interpret them in this kind of freestyle way. Okay, starting with Joie de Vivre Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. First we get my Let's make sure my computer doesn't shut down. First we get King of Swords. And this looks like, this is a cat with a pigeon on his arm holding a sword. So it's like a cat who has been civilized to the point where he won't even chase after birds anymore. So I think this could be a clue about the direction that we're going in terms of human culture. I think it's time for us to be friendly with one another in a real sense. I think we can afford that. I think we can afford to put down our weapons and be friendly. So that's how I'd interpret that card. The second card from Joie de Vivre Tarot is Knight of Cups. So that was King of Swords first. Now this is Knight of Cups. This is really cool. This is a being who is on the back of a flying fish holding a shell with a bird, and the bird is carrying a little compass with a heart. It's almost like it's a card about finding your direction, going in the direction that you actually want to go in. The third card, Page of Cups. This is kind of cool. Excuse me. The Page of Cups is a rabbit with some hearts, almost like a tree growing out of his skull or something. And then there's this little fountain there. It's almost like the rabbit is connected with this garden or something. So it kind of goes with my idea of overflowing with happiness. You can also be overflowing with love and compassion. And it seems like when you say that, like overflowing with love and compassion, overflowing with happiness, there's this, sometimes there's a sense that you don't want to go all in. You're like, I don't know. I don't want someone to bring me down, or I don't want someone to make fun of me for being too happy. But I think we have to risk it. I think we have to risk looking like 10% foolish to some cynical people in order to be really happy and blissful. And not everyone's going to get it, but I think that's okay because it's about your personal experience. So these were really fun cards. I like the way that they were about friendliness and going in the direction you really want to go in, and more of that overflowing of happiness and compassion. Okay, let's move on to the Chrysalis Tarot. Ooh, first we have the Sorceress, which is the High Priestess card. I love this card. It's so magical. And I think that's about all I have to say for it. I mean, this could be a symbol of yourself, or it could be a symbol of a wise person who you're friends with, or the wise person who you connect with when you meditate or contemplate. I don't know, the High Priestess is such a magical card, especially the way she's drawn in this picture. It's really great. Second card of Chrysalis Tarot is Storyteller, the Hermit. Wow, we're getting these really strong female figures in these cards. We've had this card before. This is just a beautiful card about the wise woman. So you see whether or not the wise woman appears as a younger and middle-aged priestess, or as an aging and elderly crone figure, the sorceress and the storyteller. In both of them you have these strong women who are never diminished in any way, who are just standing tall and are brave and courageous and standing up for what they believe in. So that is very empowering, very inspirational to me. The third card is, maybe this is what happens if we don't stand up tall. The Five of Stones looks like a lady with fairy wings is kind of feeling some sorrow or some grief. It's almost like we're given the choice. Like if we don't empower ourselves, if we don't feel that strength, like in these cards, we might feel pretty sorrowful. So even if you're going through a period of grief, you may want to find some way to re-empower these two figures in your life. That's really fun. Okay, let's continue on for the last 3 cards from Shadowscapes Tarot. 5 of Wands. This is a little bit of chaos. There's all these fox, and there's a rabbit there in the corner, but everyone's going in all different directions. This is kind of the chaos and disorder card. Second card, 6 of Cups. This is about childhood. This is a card that features a little girl having a tea party with the fairies and with her stuffed animals. And then there are all these fish swimming by in this stream. It's almost like our childhood wonder can allow us to tap into the flow of life. That's very positive. I like that. 6 of Cups. This is a really good card. I like the way the card is depicted in the Shadowscapes Tarot. The last card is 10 of Swords. That's interesting. So we're going from these very jolly and happy cards, and we're having a little bit of sorrow in there too. This is someone who's kind of looks like she's falling, and she has a parachute of sorts, but there are holes being made in her parachute. So 10 of Swords is almost like that sense of desperation, that sense of anguish. So I don't know, we have the 5 of Stones, the sorrowful and grieving, and we have 10 of Swords, which is your parachute is failing you as you fall, which is like this desperation, this angst. But if we tap into a different side of life, which is basically within our power to do, I know everyone has a lot of different circumstances going on throughout their life path, and sometimes it's a lot easier to get caught up in grief and anguish, especially depending on what's happening in your life. But I feel like if we are able to hold these strong, female, powerful energies in our life, then we have more of a chance of having this overflowing of happiness and compassion. Great. Thanks so much for tuning in to the tarot reading today. I hope you also enjoyed the update on some of the podcasts that are coming up, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.